Hey everyone, I am on today to finally film my past life regression video. I know I have been promising that I would do this video since June, and it's now August, but I'm finally doing it. Finally going to share with you my first experience with past life regression, or PLR. So I'll be looking at notes. I've written down, my experience in my bujo, so I'll just kind of be looking here and there so that I don't forget anything. And I have a feeling this video is going to be somewhat of a hot mess because this is just, I don't know, and maybe that's why I procrastinated on filming this, because I feel like there's a lot to cover and I'm not sure how to best articulate a lot of this. Well, we'll see. I'm just gonna go with it. Okay, so in May, the first weekend of May, I visited a friend in Florida, and she wanted me to join her for a PLR retreat. And it's just like a one-day retreat, and the speaker, the presenter holding the retreat, her name is Petey, and she's a therapist, and she deals in using PLR in her therapy. And for those of you who might not know what past life regression is, I've written a couple things down. So if you believe in past lives, then you lean towards the belief that we're all eternal and that we have a purpose to, seek that transformation and enlightenment and understanding. And we do that jumping from one lifetime to another. And the main goal of PLR is to focus on discovering the root causes of your current issue in this lifetime and relearn your life purpose. So basically, each lifetime focuses on a lesson that you have to learn or relearn. And Petey also mentioned that she says there are 72 souls that travel with you in your lifetime. And so in your current life, say that there are people in your current life that you have a difficult relationship with. Petey said that these people are souls from your previous lifetime, and they loved you so much that they agreed to come back into the present lifetime, the current situation, to help relearn a particular soul lesson. And she used the term soul lesson a lot, and there are, numerous soul lessons like understanding and forgiveness and patience and kindness and letting go, and you get the idea. So that was really interesting to learn. What else? Well, she also said that, oh, and by the way, this is the first time, in going to her retreat and in, hanging out with my friend and talking more about her experiences with PD and going through these PLR sessions, I learned about Brian Weiss, who I guess was one of the pioneering voices of PLR in therapy, and he is well known for his book Many Lives, Many Masters, which I did read and found it very interesting. And in that book he focuses on how he comes across using past life regression with this one particular patient. And so it's funny because under hypnosis, Brian Weiss, describes these PLRs with this patient, and it's very much like what you would imagine, like how they depict hypnosis to be in like TV shows and in movies, where you're completely under. You are not conscious, and you're kind of at the whim of the hypnotist, right? And PD said that actually hypnosis will not be like that for us. During our sessions, it will not be like that. So in this retreat, there were maybe like 40 of us. So this PLR was going to be like a group PLR, where we're all lying on the floor and we're each, going through our own past lives, but in a group as opposed to an individual session. Anyway, so she was saying that hypnosis is not like what we would stereotypically imagine, but rather that we would be, most of us would be very much aware of what was going on, very, very much conscious of what was around us. And she referenced Carl Jung, and said that, in previous teachings of Carl Jung, he discusses hypnosis as just bringing the subconscious forward, bringing the subconscious into the forefront. And I don't know much about Carl Jung, admittedly, but bringing subconscious into the forefront. And so PD was describing hypnosis in those terms, and that, the subconscious is creating a story, creating your past life to help you to deal with healing. So for people who might be skeptical about PLR, this would be another way to look at it, through kind of the schooling of Carl Jung. That if you're really not a believer of incarnation, then you can just see it as your, and it's not mutually exclusive, it all works together, right? That your subconscious is coming to the forefront, and it is weaving this story, and it's to help you to heal in your present situation. So before the session started, PD basically walked us through what she was going to do during the hypnosis. So that was really interesting to hear, and she was, just very clear and transparent about everything, that, first I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do that. And so yeah, I already knew going in what she was going to be saying, the things that she was going to be asking. And so in my mind, I'm not skeptical that people can experience PLR, but I guess it's more that I was skeptical that I would experience it. I just feel like I'm always the type of person, like everyone else gets to experience these things, but it never works on me. And so kind of did go in with that mentality. And even my friend said that she felt like the first time it didn't work for her, and that is the experience of many people during their first time, that they feel like it didn't work, when in fact it did. So, when PD was talking about the process, she was, saying, well, I'm going to have you picture a world map, and you're going to place your finger on where you want to go and in what time period. And so I had already decided in my head, well, I know where I want to go. I think I'll go to London, England. I think I'll go to London in the late 1700s, early 1800s, that period of like, Pride and Prejudice or Jane Eyre or Emma, because I was all about that literature growing up. I was an English major in college. And so I was like, yeah, no, that's what I'll do. That's where I'll go. And so that I can have a British accent, a cool British accent, and I can wear those beautiful dresses. And yeah, that's what I'll do. So we eventually all lie down on our mats and go into this session, right? And she starts us off, just trying to calm us down, relax us with these prompts, leading us into these beautiful scenic atmospheres, like you're walking through a forest, or whatever. I don't quite remember all of it, but, and now you're feeling so relaxed. Relaxed. Your breathing is evening out, slowing down. Like, you know, it was that type of prompting for, I don't know how long, but I fell asleep. I'm pretty sure I fell asleep. Because it was almost like I jolted myself awake, and I'm like, Julie, you have to fucking stay awake. You have to stay awake. Like, otherwise you're just gonna miss this session. And apparently, you know, it's a common thing. I mean, I heard other people in the room snoring, so falling asleep isn't abnormal. But I did not want to be sleeping through my whole PLR, you know. So I forced myself to wake up, and she was still kind of, you know, taking us into that calm, meditative state. And now you're feeling even more relaxed, you know, that kind of thing. So, so then she did proceed with the prompt of showing us the world map. She says, okay, now before you see the map of the world. And you are going to place your finger on where you want to go and what time period that you want to enter. So, like I said, I'm like, well, I already know. So, London, England it is. And I'm gonna kind of refer to my notes in my bullet journal, because after the PLR, she's like, write this down immediately because you're gonna forget. So write down everything you remember. So in any case, so after I picked my location and my time period, she said, okay, now you're going to enter your first significant life scene. Now, what do you see? And so I saw streets of London, cobblestone, street lamps, strangers walking around, and it's overcast. And PD asked us, what's your age? And my thought was, I'm in my 20s. And at this point, I really do feel like, oh, you know, Julie, you're just controlling all this. Like, you know, you've already made up your mind, what you're going to see, what you're going to do. Like, again, feeling a little bit skeptical that I was too much in control of my thoughts. And then PD asked us to look down at our feet. What do we see? And I pictured brown leather Regency style ankle boots, because that's what I would have worn back then. That's what you would have worn. And then PD asked us to describe our skin, hair, and eyes. And I thought, well, I have to be historically accurate, so I'm going to be a white chick. I mean, that's London, England, Regency. Yeah, I'm going to be a white chick. So I guess I'll have like dark hair. I'll have brown hair. I don't know, blue eyes. I don't, you know, I was just being very like, whatever, you know, light skin. So that's what I had started to imagine. But then I morphed into a Chinese woman. Not Korean, which is what I am. I'm Korean. I knew I was Chinese. And I was a Chinese woman still dressed in Regency clothes, and my hair was still, you know, in the style of that time period. So that was interesting. Then PD said, now on to your second significant life scene. What do you see? And then so what I pictured was, I saw in my mind an opium den. And I remember thinking to myself, geez, Jules, like, could you be a little more original? This is already beginning to look like a bad TV movie. I mean, really? Opium den? Come on. But that's what I saw. And it was dark, dimly lit. The faces were indistinct, but I knew that they were high society men. I didn't see any women, just a lot of just men smoking. And I really didn't even see myself. It was almost like, you know, I was overlooking the scene. And PD asked our age, and I really even didn't know that. I didn't know how old I was supposed to be, but I just knew that, while I was not in the scene, I was overlooking the opium den, as if I wasn't the owner of the den, then I was overseeing it or managing it in some sense. Okay, on to the third significant life scene. So Petey said, okay, your third significant life scene, how old are you? I thought to myself, around 32 to 36. And she asked us where we were, picture our surroundings, what are we wearing, all of the similar prompts. So I pictured being in an open English field all alone, wearing a white dress, a bridal dress, holding flowers as if it were a bridal bouquet. And I'm marrying nature. I'm making a vow to myself of love and independence and inner peace. All right, fourth significant life scene. So for my fourth life scene, I pictured being in a wooden coffin. I pictured the wooden coffin with a cross on the lid, and I could hear the sounds of the wheels against gravel, the rocking of the wagon. So this coffin is on this wagon and it's being transported to the graveyard. And again, Petey asked, how old are you? And I thought to myself, 80s, which, wishful thinking. I mean, I don't know, did people back then really live that long? But that's what jumped into my head. And it's like I don't really see myself. Once again, it's not that I see myself, but I know it's me in the coffin. I know it's me inside the coffin and I'm in that same white dress. Now the final scene. Petey asked us to visit our final scene before our death. And I was in bed alone. I was in the same white dress, the room filled with rich English decor. So I appear to be pretty well off, doing pretty well. Red velvet, deep brown woods in my home. And once again, I'm alone. I'm alone and I'm at peace. I'm at peace with it. There's no feeling of loneliness. My hair is pure white. And then Petey asked us, what's the illness? What's the ailment that you're suffering from? And, what message can you give yourself back in that time period to bring solace to yourself? And, I did not have anything come to me in the way of an illness. Nothing comes to me. I know that I'm going to die in my sleep. And that was it. That was, and then she, slowly started bringing us back out of the PLR. And after we had, come out of it, sat up, jotted down what had happened, she asked us, how long would you say that you were under? And I felt like I was under maybe like an hour tops, and she said that we were down for an hour and a half. So it definitely didn't feel that long. And she reminded us our past lives show us the lessons we attract, and that our soul needs to be realigned with our truest path. So that was my experience. And if I'm being completely honest, I don't know what to think of it. If somebody asked me, and friends did ask me, they knew I was going on this trip. We're all mutual friends, so they know the friend in Florida who I was hanging out with and doing this retreat with. And when I came back, they're all like, oh my God, tell me about it. Like, what did you see? What happened? And I told them everything. And they asked, well, so you felt like it worked? I was like, I don't know. I don't know. Because again, at times I felt like I was very much in control, and it was more the conscious. But then at other times, but then I had to ask myself, well, if you were being completely conscious, then why didn't you stay white? Like if you're trying to be historically accurate, like why didn't you stay a white chick? Like you morphed into something that you weren't planning. You pictured an opium den, which didn't make you happy. Like if you had this control, like you could have had more control over how the narrative went, right? So I don't know. But what I do know is that whether it was real or not, a lot of air quotes here, whether it worked or not, I felt at peace. I did feel at peace with, I don't know, just feeling independent, being independent, not being afraid of death, which I've said in a previous video, that is a really big fear of mine, that I do have issues surrounding death. And so, is that PLR meant to be something that comes to mind as a way for me to address this fear in this life? Is that how it goes? I don't, I'm not quite sure, because I guess in my mind, I thought of it as, your soul lessons, the ones that you don't learn in your past life, are the ones that come about again in your current life. Or it could be that I'm relearning. I don't know. Relearning this lesson. I'm not sure. I don't know. I feel like I'm just babbling at this point. I hope I didn't bore you all. But I'm just being honest about my experience, and that I don't really know much what to think. So I'd be interested actually in hearing your thoughts, and hearing about if any of you have done PLR. Let me know. Let me know about your experiences, or if you've done any readings on PLR. Let me know what you've learned. But that was it. That was my first PLR. It might be my only. I'm not necessarily itching to do another session, but you never know. I might do another if the opportunity arises. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and thanks so much if you stuck with me throughout this whole thing. This one's going to be a long one, but thank you so much, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.